A year ago, I talked about this dude, and I'll show you who he is later. I saw him being featured on a news channel, and I said, hell no. I must have stopped that video about a minute into it because I had a question. So I went to Google, and I didn't even get to finish typing in my question. Google finished it for me. They finished my question. And that happens when a lot of other people have asked a common question. Google already knew what it was. Other people had the same question I did. What was my question about Vladimir Burden? I wanted to know, where was his girlfriend at? Past or present? Wife? High school sweetheart or somebody? I found nothing. And other people found nothing too. Now, this is not to say that, if you don't have a woman or you don't have a man, that you're incomplete. I'm not saying that. Trust me, I'm not on that kind of time, because I'll be having my periods of time where I just don't be feeling like being bothered with no chick for a while, here and there. But what I am saying is when I see a dude who is trying to do away with the need for a female's womb, I got a question. And that's what the news report was about. He was working on making artificial wombs. And as popular as he is in this country and as rich as he is, why can't a female in his life be found anywhere? This is him looking all sugary, wearing shirts with unicorns and rainbows on them and things. Miss Kimberle Crenshaw, this outfit here. Now, I do understand that chicks will dress like this, especially at the office, like in corporate America or somewhere. But where is her man at? Past or present? Where is he at? See, when people do certain things or are involved in peculiar activities, I be wanting to know where their mate is at. Same question I have for Vitalik. Where is her man at? High school sweetheart, current boyfriend, ex-husband, somebody, where? And that's a legitimate question that I have for one of you, and if you could give it to me, you can prove me wrong and discredit this part of this commentary.
Strategies. Now, the other side will riddle us with language about preferences. They'll talk about racial preferences. They won't talk about gender preferences.
Now, a few weeks ago, I featured a conference call. That's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it a conference call or a meeting among child groomers. And there are a lot of these sessions that you can see online. And like in that conference that I featured and all of the others I've watched, you'll hear this word and derivatives of this word. And the word is intersect, intersection, and intersectionality. One of Kimberle Crenshaw's favorite words. She lectures on it and writes about it. And if you put the word intersectionality into your search engine, you're going to see all of this LGBT stuff pop up. Hence my question. Where is her man at? Your critical race theory. People are really being misled about what that's really for.
That right now is being I'm sorry. I know.
And I bet none of you could find me but you probably could find one. I bet you can't find me two people who are LGBT advocates who are against critical race theory. Bet you can't find two. Bet you can't. All of them are proponents of critical race theory. Kimberle is a very strong advocate for critical race theory. And let me look at this lie. Listen, anybody who you hear say that critical race theory is not being taught in K through 12 schools is lying to you.
Hey, this guy just spat on me. This guy just spat on me. Should I block him now?
You guys aren't gonna do anything.
This guy spat on me, guys. Come on. What's on the schedule?
Well, on Monday we're gonna trans the kids. On Tuesday it's drag story time. Wednesday is all about pronouns. Thursday is CRT. Friday is taking over the world, just like Pinky and the Brain. Saturday is laughing at those guys. And then Sunday is for naps, because that's pretty tiring.
Are you a teacher?
Yeah.
It is your fault, madam.
Again, anybody who says critical race theory is not being taught in K through 12 is lying to your face and ears. The clip I played, the clip I showed you, with the critical race theory on their agenda on that sign, that was at a gay pride rally. Listen, you will not find any gay rights advocate who is against critical race theory. Why? Why is that? Well, because it belongs to them and Mao Zedong. In MAPS, remember the lady was holding a sign, she said it was, they're going to have MAP Day. MAP, M-A-P, means minor attracted persons.
Big surprise there, right?
Yeah,
Or in other words, pro-pedophile day.
I tripped over the curb this morning and I went, critical race theory? Damn you! You tripped me! It did it. It does everything bad. I mean, and the cicadas, y'all really need to stop with the cicadas critical race theory. That was not nice.
We can throw everything in the bag. Everything in the bag.
So I just wrote down a few of the notes of what people are calling critical race theory: Marxism, racism, bigoted. Let's start with the Marxism. That's their favorite one. They're using that every single time. And I hate to ask dumb questions, so please don't think that I'm dumb. Is critical race theory Marxism?
Look, you know what? Here's the thing, Joy. Critical race theory is not so much a thing. It's a way of looking at a thing. It's a way of looking at race. It's a way of looking.
No, she didn't ask you what it looked at. She asked you, was it Marxist?
Centuries, actually. Since the emancipation, we have patterns of inequality that are enduring. They are stubborn. And the point of critical race theory originally was to think and talk about.
She didn't ask you about the point. She asked, was it Marxist?
The subordinate status of African Americans, of indigenous people, and of an entire group of people who were coming to our shores from Asia. And the point was, quite frankly,
okay, yeah, but what was the question,
understand the
though?
problem in order to intervene in it, to understand why the greatest hopes for our republic were not being realized, even though these hopes were encoded in law. So critical race theory just inherits the beliefs and the hopes.
She's not going to answer the question, is she?
Martin Luther King, who basically want the law to do for the freed people what the law did for enslavers. And we picked that up in the 70s and 80s after the civil rights movement to say, okay, so
she wants us to
now we've
forget
got
the
this
question,
big civil
don't she?
rights movement. We have all these laws in the books, but things really aren't looking as different as they should if we are really the society that we say we are. So we put about the task of understanding.
But the question
how
was,
law wasn't just the
is it
neutral
Marxist?
referee. Law wasn't always on our side. In fact, law was less on our side than for on our side. And we wanted to tell these stories in order to do better with the promises that are embedded in the Constitution.
Is it
That's what's in
Maoism?
critical
That's
race
the
theory.
question.
So is critical race theory, is there a K through 12 curriculum that right now is being taught? I'm sorry, I know it's a dumb question, but
No, it's not a dumb
is
question.
there a K through 12 curriculum on critical race theory that's being taught in schools around this country?
Well, look, Joy.
His little red book.
Then she proceeded to lie about how critical race theory is not being taught in K through 12s after she outright just didn't answer the question about, is it Marxist?
How much these ideas have been under pressure from the cohort that I call the, anti-CRT, the anti-woke cohort. And it seems as though there are many people who, if they don't agree with it, they're willing to facilitate it. So you have that on the one hand, and you see critical ideas like intersectionality, like queer theory, like Black Lives Matter being pushed out of the curriculum and benched. And then on the other hand...
And on the other hand, you're lying. On the other hand, you're deceiving people into believing that your critical race theory is about social justice and achieving racial equality. But you're sitting there complaining about queer theory being shunned. Why are you complaining about that? Why is queer theory even in your critical race theory? What is that doing in there?
This is an initiative
And y'all heard that word that I told you about. Intersectionality came straight out of her mouth. She does that a lot. She uses that word all the time. Listen, their objective is to separate male from female. Do away with the family of male, female, child. Make children into property of the state and eliminate all private property and give it into the hands of the government. And it's also to make heterosexuality against the law or a thing of the past or make it into the abnormal.